Lots of calls coming up about this terrible, terrible murder of poor little Logan Mwangi, who was murdered by his excuse for a mother, Angharad Williamson, his stepfather, John Cole, and John Cole's stepson, Craig Mulligan. They systematically beat this kid to death. They starved him, they tortured him, and then they put him into a plastic bag and tried to hide him. I think we've got some video ready of the... this is Angharad Williamson, the mother, when the police arrived at the home. Here she is, pathetically pretending she didn't know anything about the fact that she had killed her son.
Social services.
Okay. Don't take my children away!
Okay, is this part of the investigation?
I haven't done anything wrong!
Okay.
Where is Logan? Where is Logan?
He's still with us in the moment. He's still in...
She knew exactly where Logan was. She killed her 5-year-old little boy, and so did her lover, the racist piece of filth, John Cole, and this disgusting little teenager, Craig Mulligan. Let's have a little look at Craig once again lying to the police.
Middle of the night, then Dad come into the living room with me. I know we weren't meant to do it, but we grabbed some of the rubbish in the back garden and we chucked it in the river. Now it was all in like black bags and everything. I don't know what was in the bags, I can't remember. And then about 20 minutes after, we went back out to check whether they've gone down. We didn't say anything. We were trying to be as quiet as we could because we didn't want to wake Logan or Angharad. And I don't know whether Logan was still there at that point because we didn't look.
Is there anything you'd like to add or alter?
Yeah, can you tell my mum to off for me?
Why is that?
Because she's blaming me and my dad for everything when we haven't done anything. Neither has my dad. Now, I'm just sick of this. She's just saying whatever she wants to get out of the cells.
Liar. Now, give us your calls. Tell us what you think. Why haven't these people got life sentences? Why isn't the mother and the stepfather, who tortured, starved, and beat that kid to death? Why haven't they got whole life sentences? They should never be allowed out again. Instead, they've got 28, 29 years, and that kid, Craig Mulligan, although he got life, it was a minimum of 15 years, he'll be out in 10 probably. The mother and the stepfather could be out probably within, 14, 15 years. Why are they ever going to be allowed out of prison? 0344 499 1000. Let's go straight to the phones now and go to Surrey and talk to Christine. Hello, Christine.
Hi, Kevin.
This is pretty terrible, isn't it?
I'm unbelievably incensed, and I hope that I can... I've made a few notes, and I want to stick to them. First of all, I want to start off by saying, in my opinion, I think having children is a privilege and not a right. I wish we could all keep that in mind.
Yeah, you know what they say, Christine, you need a licence to go fishing, but anyone can have a kid.
Exactly. And apart from this poor little Logan Mwangi, there was Peter Conley, Daniel Pelko, Victoria Clembe, and all the time we're told...
So many, yeah.
Lessons will be learned, and social services and judges are always giving these so-called parents the benefit of the doubt. Now, in an ideal world, I wish, it's not going to happen, but I do wish people could be vetted before they have children. But at the very least, I think they should be made to have mandatory courses in parenting. And then after they've had 2 children, they shouldn't be allowed to have more than 2 children unless they're willing to be re-educated and do something, a course in something, anything, even if it's picking up litter, picking up poo in parks. This 14-year-old, by the way, I think he's got all the hallmarks of a psychopath. Yeah,
apparently his favourite hobby before he actually killed a kid was torturing animals, a sure sign that you've got a psychopath on your hands.
Well, they've proven that people with low IQs are highly promiscuous. There is a common link in that. And I think the reason being, you have the likes of Karen Matthews, who had 7 children with 5 different men, never did a day's work in her life. And this is half the problem. They've got too much time on their hands instead of being, you were saying earlier with Richard Tice that we've got so many people now on benefits, and a lot of them are saying that they're unable to work. But there are elements of jobs out there that they could do.
I think we have a lot of people who just don't want to work. As I said, we've got 1.3 million unemployed. There's a lot of jobs around. Most of them could get jobs if they wanted to. We have 2.5 million people who say that, of working age, who say they're too sick to ever work again. So there's something going on. Christine, very good points. Thank you very much for your call. Christine in Surrey there, calling for the vetting of parents. I think that might be a bit difficult. It is a basic human right to have a kid, I suppose. But you do wonder whether or not some people actually deserve that right. But I'm afraid that is the way of the world. Let's go to York and talk to Mike. Hello, Mike.
Good morning, Kevin.
Yeah.
Fun Friday as always.
Yep. What can I do for you?
Why are we surprised? Is this not just pathetic in so much as... Let me explain my point. Clumsily,
go for it, yeah.
OK. Ghislaine Maxwell got 20 years for pimping girls. That's what she was doing. Nobody got drugged or... Well, no.
Yeah.
20 years minimum. Grooming gangs, 8 years, out in 4... and they're still walking the street.
Light sentencing is a problem. I mean, rapists, are often out within about 5 years. That's not acceptable. But what I don't understand about these... John Cole, the stepfather, and Angharad Williamson, the mother, they didn't even get life sentences, let alone whole of life sentences. They got 29 years and 28 years, respectively. Now, we all know what that means. They'll do about 10. What's that about? I don't get it. What worse a crime is there than to torture, starve, and beat a 5-year-old little boy to death? What worse a crime is there? So, what do you have to do to get a whole of life sentence?
Well, let me just put another point to you. This is case law now, but it was called Ewan Island, who was 18. And if you remember, he murdered a lawyer who opened a door for him. He took exception and stabbed him with a stolen screwdriver.
Yeah.
Before that incident, and he's only 18, mind you, he had 17 previous convictions for violence offences. Now, if something doesn't happen in the first 3 or 4, what do we all expect? What do you expect, or do the people listening to this, or even the politicians? Because they're the people that this fault lies with, not the police, the politicians. Is what do we expect of a person who does 31 offences, commits a horrendous crime against vulnerable people, aged people, even vulnerable people? We've got grooming gangs who, and I read now from the Rochdale Observer, these people were convicted for feeding 13-year-old girls.
Yeah. I know, Mike, what we need to do, I agree, what we need to do, I think, as a nation is recalibrate our approach to these awful crimes. Too many terrible criminals, people who commit the most awful of crimes, are getting too lenient a sentence. I think you're absolutely right. Thank you for the call. That's Mike in York. Let's go to Rita in London. Hello, Rita.
Hi. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Yes. Now, Kevin was talking about...
that would be me.
Oh, bless you.
I am Kevin, yes.
Well, you're talking about... I've been in 7 children's homes. I came into this country when I was about 3. I just have to tell you that my father was an Irish abusive person. He hung my brothers in separate cupboards with a hanger around their necks and systematically beat them and hit them until one of them confessed as who took the bike. Well, they found the bike in this house next door.
What you're talking about, Rita, is just unconscionable child abuse, and I'm so sorry to hear your harrowing story.
It didn't stop there, my lovely. It didn't stop there, because I've been in 7 children's homes, and when I went into the children's homes, the abuse was just the same. But I was subjected to paedophilia. I was subjected to awful people, awful people. Also, older ladies in a home in Shirley Oaks Children's Home that put us into a cold cellar if you did something wrong, and they denied us of food. Well, I already was being denied of food at home because I'm in an Irish.
So what did Rita? Well, I'm so sorry for your awful experiences. What do you feel? What did you feel when you heard about poor little Logan? It must have brought back awful memories for you.
Horror, absolute horror that it's still going on, because the social services departments they're not fit for purpose, as our police is not fit for purpose, as a lot of things are not fit for purpose. And the housing association that I'm in is not fit for purpose. I've been fighting for them since 2007. So there's an awful lot of things that are failing in this country.
I think you're so right. Social services put this teenager, 14-year-old Craig Mulligan, I think he was 13 at the time, back into this house where Logan was living with Angharad Williamson, his mother, and his stepfather, John Cole, 5 days before Craig Mulligan joined those two in killing this poor little kid. 5 days before. Social services. Great decision, eh?
It's been going on now, and it's appalling that nothing's been learnt. No.
You're right. They always say, don't they, lessons have been learnt. Well, nothing ever seems to happen. I hope they don't come up with this phrase this time. Rita, thank you for sharing your harrowing background, and I'm so sorry about that. But very kind of you to call. Thank you very much. That's Rita in London. When we come back, we'll be talking to a barrister, a criminal QC, former judge, about this sentencing. Perhaps he can explain why it was so the sentences were so lenient, to be honest with you.